Alright, so to start with, I guess we're going to have to mark down how much we're going to have to cut underneath here. Alright, so we were able to remove a lot of stuff out of there. So I cut this whole entire area here. Now we should have enough space for the turbo to pop all the way out and then connect to the back door intercooler. And I'm able to save this little tab for the headlight right here. Alright, so now we've determined where we're going to have to mount the intercooler. So it's looking like, and if you look in the back, it's right straight on, pretty much ready to go. I'm going to have to get a 3-inch from the turbo. So 3-inch from the turbo, and then 275 to the intercooler. So that wasn't too bad of a work, really. I was expecting more work, but this intercooler is obviously a single back door. We got the built-in blow valve on the side here. So now we could start working on the cold side piping. So what we're going to try to do here is to cut this one shorter, push this inward so that it's not all the way to the firewall here. So it's somehow, let's get it somewhere in the middle here, and then weld the other 3-inch to here, so you have a one piece that goes underneath, and then when you go down here about like that, and then another 90-degree coupler from here, and then another piping that goes back to the intercooler. So let's go ahead and put together you know, just a couple of mock-ups things for the cold side pipings, and start from there. Right now we're at chassis service, and I was gonna get this piping cut and bring it to my buddy Jamie to get it welded, but this rain is just kind of ruins the plan, I guess. So we had to wait around until it slows down and go from there. You gotta do what you gotta do. This hobby ain't cheap, man. I'm always like, it always nickels and dimes you all the time, you know? It's like, it's crazy.
If you're not into racing, if you're into racing for the money, you're gonna lose. You gotta be in it for the love of it.
Definitely. So I've kind of finalized how I want everything to be. The intercooler is going to be mounted in the front. You're going to have I'm going to be mounting it with one bolt here and another bolt here. And then we're going to need to order a straight 3-inch to 275 coupler straight. And then the cold side piping is basically just a coupler here, and then you got a 90-degree bend coupler right here. And if you look underneath, we're going to weld these two right here, and then weld this part in here as well. And then this goes back into the throttle body. So now it has a nice I don't know, angle. It's not like all the way to the firewall. It looks kind of awkward that way. So now we're gonna have to just mark everything down and then go to my buddy Jamie's shop, and then we're gonna get this welded in. So we made it here to Jamie's, and right now we're about to weld the pipings. Finish the 3-inch charge pipe all the way back to the intercooler, thanks to this guy right here. Alright, so we just got back in the garage. We just finished the charge pipe, and actually the fitments turned out pretty good. So here's the finished charge pipe. So you have the 3-inch coming from the intercooler all the way down and back up to the 74mm trowel body. So that basically completed the whole turbo kit install. Hope that kind of, you know, helps some of you guys as far as, like, you know, ideas of how to turbo a car, or how to put a turbo kit. So basically, yeah, you saw how we kind of piece it together from the start, cut it, and weld it. So again, thanks to my buddy Jamie for all the help with the welding today. And let's go ahead and get a move on and do some more work on the car. So we just finished installing the engine harness into the car, and what I'm doing right now is installing the Bosch 2200cc into the intake manifold and fuel rail. And for this install, we're going to need 4 rubber O-rings like this ones, and everything is pretty much self-explanatory. This goes in between the intake manifold. The injectors will slide in there and seal itself. And then the top hats, obviously you're going to need this for the shorter Bosch injectors, and this will slide in on top of here, and then the top hats will slide in into the fuel rail. And lastly, we're going to need 3 of this 3 aluminum washers right here. Sometimes depending on the top hats that you use, there's a lot of space, or there's not much space in between. So if you're not paying attention while tightening the fuel rail, you end up ruining the injector clips by crushing them too much, or ruining the injectors in general. So I mean, it's using a little bit of oil will help slide, you know, the injectors pretty easily. So with that said, let's go ahead and install this. So we kind of ran into a little situation here where the O-ring on the top hats, it's a little too big for the opening of the fuel rail. But a good thing that I kept these little O-rings right here, because I know that maybe in the future I'll run into, like, you know, a situation just like today. So it's not a big deal. We're gonna transfer these little O-rings into the top hats, which I did over here, and then that'll solve the problem. So let's keep going. Alright, so here's the injectors and the fuel rail installed to the intake manifold. We're going to look at the gap in between the intake manifold and the fuel rail. It looks like this is going to work just fine, but it's already kind of snug, and I don't feel like tightening it even more. So what I'm going to do is add 1 washers in each of these. So 1 washer over here, another over here, and 1 over there. So that way when tighten it, it's snug, but you're not like actually like crushing the injectors. So let me go get some washers and let's tighten these things. So we're going to be using a Honda 4-port boost solenoid. So to install that, you have one coming from the top of the wastegate. You need an NPT fitting in there, and then another one from the side here. And then the line goes, the solenoid is tucked in underneath. Let's see here, there you go. So this one goes on top of the wastegate, bottom part of the wastegate, and this one just goes to the turbo nipple. So the way I set up the 4-port is obviously you got the top of the wastegate that goes into the top side of the solenoid. The bottom part of it goes to the side, and then the other one is just going to be open with a vent, and then this one goes to the turbo nipple. So we've also finished installing the turbo. Obviously that's what we've been doing the whole day, but the turbo is nice and tight in there, it's all snug. I didn't actually talk about what I have going on as far as the intercooler. It's a little bit on the small side for what I'm trying to do, but this will work good for the street. And this is actually an older Go Autowork 27 by 13 by 3 inch intercooler. This one has the built-in blow-off valve on the side. We got the catch can in there now, where it used to be like the the stock battery connection. And then we installed intake manifold, fuel system, and then got the feed, another feed that goes around connects to the A1000 regulator, and then you get another return line right here connected from the bottom. You can't really see it, but the only thing that we're missing right here right now is just the vacuum line that connects to the intake manifold crusher. But other than that, that should be it. So upon digging further into the harness, the cabin harness is actually kind of pretty hacked up. So I was like, to hell with this. I removed everything. I removed everything from the headlight connection all the way to this, the ignition switch. Because this, I don't know, this looks like it's been pinned and depinned and it's been cut. I don't want to deal with all that headache. So I'm gonna start fresh and put a new set of cabin harness, dash harness, and do it right the first time, then deal with this headache later on in the future. So probably gonna set me back a couple days to a week, but that's quite all right. I'm gonna have to go to junkyard or find somebody that has this harness and start from there. Yeah, I mean it sucks that the dash harness is gonna mess up like that, but it's that's what it is. Like I said, it's better to fix it now and deal with the problem later. And so tomorrow we're gonna go hit up the junkyard and see if we can find one there, or maybe one of my buddies has one. But the good thing though is that we're done with the swap. We're done with the turbo kit. The fuel system's there. Really all we gotta do is just wire up the switch panel, wire up the fuel pump, the gauges, and that's really about it. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna end the video here. It's almost like 3 in the morning again. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted. So stay tuned, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.